Hello, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us through that weather delay. My name is Megan Multeney.
And I'm Simone Pirati. And we're so excited to welcome you to Minnesota Strike's second home game of the season.
Yeah, today we're going to see Minnesota Strike take on New York Gridlock. This should be a really exciting game, if not just because of the weather that our teams are being dealt with here today. I think because everyone can tell probably from the feed, we've got a heavy rain coming down kind of toward the cameras. It's about 60 degrees out there. We just had a big front go through. It's not too windy. It's kind of coming at us, so it's kind of a crosswind, kind of coming toward the screen when we got the big shot of the field. And Simone, you were down there kind of in the stadium. What did it feel like down there? What are players, how are the warm-ups looking?
Yeah, it's definitely lots of rain affecting a couple of throws. Be interesting to see what the throws look like down on the field during the game. I wonder how many of them are going to be playing with gloves who normally don't play with gloves on. But sounds like everybody's excited. It's going to be super competitive. Got a lot of great athletes down there today, so it'll be good.
Yeah, we should say just one more note on the weather that, we are having an eye on the radar, and if we do have another lightning strike within 5 miles, we will have to go into another rain delay. The teams will have to leave the field, we'll have to go into shelter, and we'll have to do that for about 30 minutes. So the stream will take a pause. We'll do that sort of as many times as we need to up to a point. Hopefully it won't happen, but that's probably something people at home should have in mind. But if everything goes to plan, we'll be playing with the PUL rules. Very similar to other forms of Ultimate. You'll have 10 seconds stall by the person on the mark. This is going to be a self-officiated game with observers, making some active calls, which we'll talk about when we get there. Players will have 10 seconds to resolve calls between themselves, and if not, that doesn't happen, then the players or the coach can also overrule on integrity or go to the observers for a ruling.
Yeah, so we're going to be playing with 4 quarters today. Hopefully, fingers crossed that the weather holds out. Got 12 minutes per quarter, and obviously there's 4 of those, and then 150 seconds in between quarters, so they're going to be pretty quick. And then a 10-minute halftime, and then each team gets 2 timeouts per half. The coaches can call timeout from the sidelines, which is something that some other Frisbee communities don't play with.
Yeah, and then if we do happen to go into overtime, then there will be 4 minutes of time put on the clock. There'll be a coin flip to decide who pulls and who receives, and the clock will stop between pulls. Then we'll have a final 2-minute clock stop for all calls. The other thing we should say about during those timeouts, there can be changes made, substitutions, and that definitely adds sort of an additional strategical element to this league, which is pretty fun. So we are really excited to get a look at this New York Gridlock team. They've only played 2 games so far. They are 1-1, so they're definitely sort of looking to make a big impact today. Who do you think we should be looking for on this roster?
Definitely looking out for number 00, Jenny DeJesus, great player playing for Exist. And then 2 players, Elizabeth Mosquera and Gina Cartagena, players playing with Medellin, Colombia, some incredible world game athletes. And then coming back to home, Tulsa Douglas, number 14, went to St. Olaf College for 4 years, brought them to a national title.
Their first ever, 2018.
2018, first ever national title. She had 60 assists in that tournament, so it'll be exciting what she can do here today.
Awesome. Well, we are going to have Strike starting on offense, receiving in the north end zone, which will be off to your left. And they've made a few changes to this game day roster from the last time we saw them. Simone, what should we be thinking about that's different for them?
Yeah, so they're bringing in Maggie Peck and Katie Godfrey. Steph Rupp and Courtney Walby were unable to make it to today's game. Congratulations, Rupp, getting married this weekend. But it'll be exciting to see where number 15 and number 13, Maggie Peck and Katie Godfrey, fit in today in this game.
Yeah, and we're also getting Michaela Daly back and Emma Peasley. They didn't make an appearance in Strike's win over Indy Red at their last home game. And those are both going to be really important players. I think we should expect to see them touching the disc a lot. Michaela tends to play more in that handler role. And Emma is one of those really talented cutters who, as soon as she catches an under, she's looking to throw a big continue. So excited to get them out on the field for Strike today.
Yes, it'll be super excited. They hopefully will be playing on the same line today. Super excited to see what they're able to do.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how these teams have gotten here to this game. Strike is coming off of an undefeated streak. They are 3-0, unbeaten after sweeping their away games in the Southeast. They edged out Atlanta Soul 13-11 before handing a really sound defeat to Nashville Nightshade 21-13, and then they had a big win over Indy Red in a very windy game that was 10-6 last weekend. So I think they're trying to keep this momentum going. I think New York Gridlock is going to be a really big test for the success that they've seen so far and how those systems will sort of hold under more defensive pressure than I think they've seen so far this season.
Yeah, Gridlock going 1-1 on the season. They played last week against Portland Rising in a similar weather game today, so having some practice playing in the rain. We'll see if that helps today with anything out on the field. But this is going to be a super competitive game. I'm super excited to see it.
Yeah, and they, we mentioned they're 1-1. They lost 17-13 to Philadelphia Surge in their season opener, but they were missing Elizabeth Mascara and Jeannie Cartagena. With those two on the roster, they trounced Portland Rising. So they're out here again today, and we saw Mascara with that big pole that looks like it landed
out of bounds. Robin
outside.
Fennig is going to take it to the middle and anchor this offense all the way up the field.
It's kind of a new look for Strike. We've seen them pretty much in a vertical offense up till now, but we see them in this sort of split stack situation to start their first O point.
Yeah, running sort of a set play, resetting back to Doreen Taylor, back to Robin. Those two will be playing catch all night. Big hug from Robin out to Steph Wood. What a great catch by Steph.
Oh, full extension and in the rain, holds on to it.
Resetting back to Katie Godfrey, swinging over to Robin Fennig. Great inside cut there by Wood. We'll see if they settle into their end zone offense here. Around backhand, and what a great layout D there.
And that was a huge D from the Gridlock player. We're going to get another look. Maybe we can pick out that number from the far side of the end zone. Oh, that's number 27. Aki Young with the layout, but Strike making quick work of getting the disc back. That's Fenning to number 25.
Doreen Taylor
For the O hold and the 1-0 Strike lead.
Yeah, like we said, Robin Fennig, Doreen Taylor, both from Madison. They've been playing together before. Those two are going to be really nice working together in the backfield for this offensive unit for Strike today.
That's exactly what you want to see for your O-line when you've, had a little bit of a delay in warming up. Things are a little weird. The weather's a little wonky. To just come out and have a really nice offensive set, even under that pressure that New York Gridlock was bringing, that you get that big play from Steph Wood to pump your team up. We're going to get another look off of that Robin Fenning shot.
Just butterfly cut out of the stack. Robin able to just put it out, and Steph with a great layout.
And we've got Alicia Carr releasing the pole for Strike on their first chance for a break with their D-line heading out there.
We're going to see McKella and Peasley out on this line like we were talking about earlier. Excited to see them together. Little contact there. Here's Jenny DeJesus. Great cutter, great around break there. A little bit too high. Strike will get a chance on O.
Yeah, in and out of the hands of Janine Hlavati. A little bit over her head. It looks like there was a
foul. Maybe on the throw. It'll go uncontested. So it'll go back to Jenny. Great matchup here with Mex on her. That'll be a fun one to watch all night. But a little bit overthrown. We'll see Carly Ekstrom picking up the disc. Big shooter. We'll see what she decides to do here.
Can't hit Michaela Daly under pressure. Nice catch by Carr.
Classic around backhand by Alicia. She loves those. Mexo reset back to Carly, looking for that inside shot. Redding not quite there. High release backhand up to Adrian Baker, able to toe the line. And what a great throw by Baker, just hitting Redding on the open side, able to curve it back in. With this rain, that is an impressive throw.
Oh, you love to see it, the vision and the execution. We get another look of this great field awareness to toe it in.
And then able to just look upfield and let it go.
And with that, Strike two points, 2 points on the board, one hold and one break. That's got to feel pretty good.
39 seconds left in the first period.
We've got a little look at our crowd there who have wandered in. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports.
Spin Ultimate. This live broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com.
Kind of a shorter pull here for strike will give Gridlock the disc around half field.
Great D by Naraya Bell Sims, able to get in over that back shoulder. Strike getting another chance on, oh, they're doing a great job with this pressure. We'll see what their D line is able to do.
That's Rachel Johnson picking up for strike.
Great around over to Sarah Monsheen. Jane probably gonna head off deep there. She's got no one near her. Sarah Helm holding it though. Naraya with a great under. These cutters are doing a great job together. A little bit overthrown there to Jane, but
yeah, picked off by DeJesus.
here we see with the disc Emily Barrett playing for Exist. She had a great season last year, second team all club. And we got a big huck going up to Zoe Hecht, but Jane able to just close her out with that speed.
And not the crisp sort of precision offense we would have expected to see from sort of this handler core between Douglas and Cartagena. Gives strike another chance at a break. Oh, but just in and out of the hands of Paletto.
Cartagena picking up on the goal line and flipping it over to Tulsa Douglas.
And with that, Gridlock is on the board. 1 point to Minnesota Strike's 2.
That's a hold for New York. Good to see that their offense is able to punch it in. We'll see what their D-line's able to do.
We're going to get another look at this big layout block from Naraya Bell Sims, which is well read.
Able to get on Hecht's back shoulder. Just able to get there first. Textbook.
Yeah, I mean, I think the obviously that one's going to feel disappointing to the strike D line, but I do think acknowledging that they are getting blocks on some of these go-to cutters for New York Gridlock, if they can keep applying that kind of pressure in these conditions, they're going to get chances to convert.
See a pull here from Becky Malinowski, another name that I'm sure many of you have heard before, playing for Brute Squad, but we have a little bit of a poachy look here from New York, little bit of a junk set. Katie Godfrey and Robin Fenig, I'm sure, are very comfortable in this.
Beautiful cross field blade. Sets up the streaking score. That's Kayla Blahnik, number 33, catching the goal to go up 3-1.
And that's a great throw by Byers. Kayla coming in from the far sideline, able to just blow by everyone. Byers able to just put that out for her on a platter with that inside flicks.
Yeah, and that's what a thrower like Fenning can bring, is that you have someone so far away on this back break side of the field, and Malinowski has the deep feeling that, it's going to hang up long enough that maybe there's going to be a play, but the second she's not able to close that, there's a streaking cutter, and Byers able to hit that nice flat crossfield, sort of going upwind. But yeah, just phenomenal sort of throwing prowess on display from that pair.
Yeah, the weather not quite affecting these throwers as much. It's great to see. These are some of the best players, so not surprising. Here we got Alicia Carr with a big pull, gonna roll all the way down the field. Stopped by Cartagena, and they'll center up to Tulsa Douglas. McKella, great defense on Cartagena. They're going to look to work it on the break side.
It's Finley now with the disc for Gridlock. Not a lot of options, though, having to float one.
DeJesus getting a good read on that, maybe looking to shoot it to our Exist teammate, Emily Barrett. Just a little bit overthrown on that strike cut, and this strike defense is able to get turns. We'll see if they're able to punch it in
right now.
Carly Ekstrom shooting it to one of her favorite targets, Sarah Meckstroth. That's something we'll be seeing all night.
Well, Jesus equal to the task, catches that D. That's her third caught D of the game so far, but just a turfed throw will give this strike D-line a disc back.
See Daly picking up here. New York in a little bit of a poachy set, and just a tough drop there by Baker. Just slipping through the hands. It's over to Hecht, looking to shoot to Cartagena. Peasley coming from the backside. What a great grab right at the shoelaces. She'll stay composed here on the end zone line.
Looks like there's a little bit of contact there.
Got a pick.
Ah, yes.
Pick called. Mexel catch back up over to De Jesus, and we'll see New York if they can settle into that end zone offense. Just a little bit of confusion here about when the disc is going to come back in. A little bit of a conversation down on the field. De Jesus able to get open in that ISO space.
And after all of that back and forth, New York's O-line able to hold, getting them closing that gap, making it 2-3.
We'll take a look at this deep shot by Hecht to Cartagena, able to grab it at the shoelaces there. That's a great catch, way to stay focused. One hand. And then De Jesus just a little hezzy, getting open from next on that open side.
Yeah, just that little drop shoulder. One jab step to that open side. Well, I still think that you know, if I'm down there and I'm on that strike D-line, I'm feeling good about the amount of pressure that's being applied, feeling good about sort of how hard we're having to make New York's cutters work to get the disc. They can keep kind of applying that, you know, 1 quarter at a time. That's going to start to yield, I think, some real benefits.
Yes, this defensive pressure is going to pay dividends in the end, and we're going to get a big pull there by Elizabeth Mosquera. She's got some of the best pulls in the game.
And not just in the women's game, sort of in the world. When she was playing with the Columbia team at World Games in Birmingham last summer, she was pulling for them routinely.
Round backhand by Fennig, just a little too low to the ground. Wood not able to dig that up. And Gridlock looking to capitalize quickly here.
Oh, Fennig making it a tight window. It's not quite into the end zone yet.
That's number 48, Lisa Kowalski with the disc. A little bit of a travel there. Tap the disc back in. Cartagena able to get it back, looking to explode up the line, and there you have it.
There was almost a switch that looked like it was going to work, but just went off a second too late. And with someone like Mosquera with that explosive speed, she's going to get to that every time.
Yeah, just throwing. This is just a great throw, great play. Mosquera just dishing it up, and Kowalski able to just put it right out there over Fennig's blind spot. Just the classic give and go.
Classic give and go to New York's first break of the game, getting them back on serve at 3 apiece here.
Yeah, we'll see the offensive unit here for strike, walking back to that line. See if they can work it up the field again this time.
Yeah, I'd like to see them, you know, continue to kind of extend the field, utilize that deep space. I think when they, you know, are able to sort of get cutters in that area and you have the disc in someone's hands like Robin Fenning, you're going to make life much harder for the defense.
We're going to see Byers there streaking deep right away. Unable to get it. KG and Fennig are going to play catch here. Thought about the deep shot.
And they're out of that junky look back into person, but just as that transition happens, just out of the hands of Byers.
Yeah, just a little bit maybe too spicy of a throw towards Byers from Wood, but this one thing about this offensive line is they're able to get it back on D. They've all played D-line at some point, and
As you say that, Robin Fenning with just the catch D on a miscue there.
Over to Jareen, who is an incredible thrower. She has every throw in her bag, so it'll be exciting to see what she does with those today. Wood with the around to Fennig. Crossfield hammer over to Byers. Those two like to do that. They like to switch the field.
New York applying some nice pressure here on the handlers, but Fennig finding some space.
He's going to shoot to Byers and able to just run onto it. Those two played together for DC Scandal in 2019, and Robin and Byers both talked about how they were excited to be on the
Well, the
field together
chemistry
again.
is clearly still there, and we'll get another look at that connection. First with the hammer.
Byers able to run onto it, and then just dishing back to Robin. And Byers, she's got a smile on her face. She knows she's going to get that.
And one thing that's been really powerful for this strike team in picking up Robin Fenning and Sarah Mexstroth this season, aside from sort of all of the talent and big game experience that they bring, is that they're going to draw some of those really tough matchups and free people like Danielle Byers to just like be able to work even more of the magic that they're known for. I think we're going to see similar things with people like Emma Peasley, Michaela Daly, sort of going further down, Gridlock's defensive roster.
Yeah, we got Rachel Johnson with a big pull. They'll center up to Cartagena. Little clear play there for number 66, Janine. Over to Zoe Hecht on the open side. Just a little bit overthrown on that swing pass. Like we said, that wind coming towards us.
Yeah, catching that.
Just catching that lip there. Paletto and Johnson will play catch.
There's been some contact at the back of the stack. Play will stop while they resolve where the players were at the time the pick occurred.
Yeah, we got Jane Cook and Sarah Monsheen back there in the back of the stack. Both of those ladies played pretty high-level soccer before transitioning to playing Ultimate there in college. Sarah Monsheen playing with Rose Lavelle, who is an incredible athlete.
If you know anything about women's soccer, you know the name Rose Lavelle.
We'll see some good break side movement. Paletto over to Sarah Helm, looking for that reset. Paletto able to just go right by Cartagena. Monsheen open on the under. They look to reset to Raisin, and just great break side movement there to Belle Sims. Trying to settle down here in the end zone. Over to Cook. She'll look for options. Not a lot of cutting. Barrett wrapping on that mark there, making it hard for that throw to get off. And Sarah Helm with a great one-handed catch, able to keep those toes in. Good Selly with her best friend, Callie Paletto.
And gosh, you just gotta love the way this strike D-line's offense is grinding right now. They sort of are taking whatever New York is giving them. And nice read there by Sarah Helm as that wind pops that disc up for that break to go up 4-3 here late in the first quarter.
Yeah, we're coming up on the end of the first quarter here. For the first 3 quarters, when the clock hits 0, whatever team has possession of the disc gets to keep possession, and then if it's a turnover, the quarter's over. So they'll look to possess this disc here. Minnesota up 5-3, up a break. So we'll see what they're able to do. They got another defensive unit out there.
It looks like Gridlock has brought over Mascara and Douglas to this line that also includes DeJesus and Cartagena. So definitely I think they're feeling the pressure of, being down a break and feeling this sort of smothering strike defense. So interesting to see what this particular group of players will be able to, how they'll be able to address that.
We have a little World Games matchup happening with Sarah Mextroth on Elizabeth Mascara. Mascara able to get open on that underside, throwing it up to her Revo teammate, Gina Cartagena. Looking to get it up, it's hanging in the air. Ekstrom there for the pressure, but number 7, Neves, able to bring it down.
Yeah, that was a really nice box out by Luisa Neves as that disc was coming over her right shoulder. You see her just go strong up with that left hand.
Cartagena knew she wanted it, and she got it.
That's exactly what, if you're a New York Gridlock, you're a New York Gridlock fan, that's what you wanted to see. A quick hold, no change of possession. And they started that with that big sort of open side isolation play, sending Mascara deep, drawing 2 defenders, and that sort of set up this play here to finish off that point. So closing the gap, they're still trailing by 1, 4 to Minnesota's 5.
Yeah, we'll see what Minnesota Strike decides to do here. They might play catch for a little bit, hold on to the disc until the clock hits 0, so then Gridlock doesn't get a chance to punch it in and keep that 5-4 lead going into the second quarter.
Well, that may be easier with this zone look here. It's a lot easier to just play catch back and forth when you've got this lower pressure on the disc.
Yeah, it looks like we have it's almost like a zone. They're in a little bit of a cup, but the people in the front are just flexing around a little bit. Fenig able to get a nice throw over to the open side to Megan Randall. Looking for a reset. Dreen able to get open. Fenig able to bring it up. We're coming towards the end of the first quarter. And Strike will just hold on to this disc now. They're at last possession. So they'll hold on to it. Dreen and Fenig will play catch. Up to Steph Wood, big under. Dreen streaking towards that open side. And the cartwheel spike. We've been waiting for that one, and it came at a good time.
And that was really, really disciplined work by the Strike offense, as you said, to sort of just hold the disc, play catch back and forth until that clock winds down, and then Steph Wood freeing up for a big under, and Jareen just springing from that handler space for that strike cut. With that, they will
they'll take a 6-4 lead here going into the second quarter. We'll take a little bit of a break here.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Welcome back to this rainy game between Minnesota Strike and New York Gridlock. Strike jumping out to an early lead, 6-4, in what is being so far a really exciting, athletic game we've already had some great highlights from.
Yeah, it's been super exciting. This broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin Ultimate on the web at spinultimate.com.
Awesome. And we are underway here with the pull going up and Gridlock taking possession about half field.
Hecht able to get there on the under. Another nice under there from Barrett. They'll look to punch it in here. Good around throw there. Swinging it over to Cartagena, looking for that break side. Able to get there. Douglas here on the near end zone. They'll settle into their end zone offense. Cartagena able to get open. And putting one out there for De Jesus, but just isn't able to bring it in. Good pressure there from Mex on the break side, and then Baker coming in from that poach and able to bring it in.
Oh, and we got a huge launch of the disc to start right away. Looking for Mex. Can't quite read that one in the wind.
Good pressure there from Barrett, able to get right in front of Mex. Not an easy task.
So a little bit of a reset here for New York's O-line.
Got a little bit of a call here. This will go back to Douglas. Have a timeout call. New York calling a timeout. So like we talked about in the beginning, something new with these timeouts is you don't have to be on the field to call a timeout, and you get substitutions during the timeout. We'll see if Gridlock takes advantage of that.
Yeah, we're going to I think they're probably going to be talking about how they can deal with this pressure that Strike is bringing. We're going to get a look. It's kind of coming from two players, Mexstroth on the front side of that Jesus matchup, and then Baker peeling off the back to finish off that D.
Just making sure it goes into the ground.
While we wait for the players to get set up after this timeout, we're going to give a quick shout out to RIF Elite Athletic Training. They are a proud partner of Minnesota Strike, providing cutting-edge training strategies to help you reach new heights. RIF Elite Athlete Training.
All right, we're back here from the timeout. Looks like teams will keep the same units out there. Douglas with a nice inside shot there to Cartagena from that reset space. Cartagena able to get it up to De Jesus and shooting it. Baker's there and able to get there. Great D. Hecht right on her back shoulder.
Yeah, and I mean, this Strike defense, they've been running a bunch of switches on these cutters, and it kind of comes to fruition with this Baker D in the back of the end zone, but it was really shutting down a lot of options. Really smart movement there from their D-line.
And we'll see another huck here from Carly Ekstrom. This line looking at, like this point, they're just going to punt and play D, but when you have receivers like Peasley and Mexstroth,
and forcing sort of the quick punch, try to punch in there for a look from Cartagena, goes overthrown, would give McKella Daly the disc on the end zone.
McKella looking for that big swing. Baker able to clean it up, able to stay in. We've seen a bunch of good catches over on this near sideline. Strike players having a good time with that field awareness. Baker able to hit Peasley on the under. Peasley throwing that disc away, and immediately as it left her hand, she turned away. Very
I
frustrating.
think she knew something happened there with the wetness or the wind. That one just got away from her.
Cartagena will pick up, and she'll break that mark up to Douglas. That's what you like to see. I mean, lots of turns. Your O-line's able to get it back. They're able to stay calm, and then Cartagena just breaking marks left and right. Douglas knows what she wants.
Yeah, you know, I think you had pointed out earlier in the point, Carly Ekstrom shooting deep, and I think that Peasley missed throw really sets up one of, you know, this New York Gridlock's best thrower to just shimmy out of that mark for a nice, you know, easy 20-yard pass. And so I think, yeah, if you're Strike's defense right now, I think you should feel really good about the effectiveness of the switching. And I think, you know, that we're starting to see that there's not as much discipline coming from that D-line playing offense. And, you know, I think they need to recognize that when they are in that, you know, higher pressure, more, you know, they're not getting the big wide windows that they want, that they need to probably just punt and play D there. Like, don't give this Gridlock team anything easy. Don't let Cartagena pick it up 20 yards out.
On the goal line. Here we got a big pull here from Malinowski. It'll roll past a couple of Strike players, but like we've seen all game, Fenig gonna anchor this line from the backfield. Hammer over the top. Wood is sitting right there. That's one thing that Fenig brings to this O-line is you're just sitting in dead space. Not many players in the world are able to hit those spots, but Fenig, with a big toolbox of throws, is able to do so.
Fenig absorbing some contact there, not able to get that around look to a streaking cutter.
And we have a incredible play. Dreen looking for Fenig on the give and go. Bounces off of Fenig's hands during the bid, and Katie Godfrey is able to clean it up, but just a little bit of a misthrow there to Taylor, and New York kind of doing the Strike thing, punting and playing D, so we'll see. Hopefully Strike is able to work it up.
Yeah, that was number 4, Stasi Tangerlini on the D for Gridlock, but Strike marching down the field.
Kayla Blahnik to Steph Wood, not a connection that we see in the deep space that often, but looking like Strike is feeling pretty comfortable shooting deep.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job to utilize the whole width of the field right now.
Byers resetting over to Jareen, and a great
huge layout to save possession from Fenig.
Yeah, and here comes another hammer to Wood. Like I said earlier, Fenig just able to hit those spots. Wood's waiting there, does a little selly.
And that will be a hold for this Strike team, going up 7-5 over New York.
That must be so fun as a receiver like Wood, just hanging out in the back of the stack, knowing that she's able to drift off to that break space, and she's just able to hit it with these hammers. Here's one, just this point, going off her hands. We can call that a Fenig assist, maybe.
Sure.
Another great grab here from Fenig, and then keeping composure throughout this entire point. Scanning the field, and then dime hammer to the back corner. Wood able to just run onto it.
And that's total, like, dagger to the heart for a defense when you've been that close. You've been able to sort of shut down that open side over and over. You've forced multiple layouts to maintain possession, and then just one pinpoint hammer opens everything up.
Here we have a great roller pull going about 3/4 of the way down the field and rolling out of bounds. That's what you like to see. But New York able to get it off that sideline. Cartagena up to number 96, Finley. Over to Barrett. They're just working it up this open side. Over to De Jesus. Good matchup here with Cook on De Jesus, just hoping to annoy her with this defense. Cartagena able to hit that inside lane.
Oh, and Sarah Helm coming through with the block on that last throw.
D-line Helm, that's what we like to see. Helm's been huge in some big moments for Strike over the past couple of games. And we have Raisin shooting to Jane Cook, just sitting out there, and there we have it. The classic Jane Cook highlight of the game. She has one of those every game, and there it is today. Belle Sims looking for a reset here, finds Cook, Back to Bell Sims. We'll see if they're able to get it to a handler. Able to get it to Johnson. Good pressure there by Hecht on that D on Paletto. And we have a timeout call by Minnesota. They'll work, I'm sure they'll bring in their offensive unit, and they'll want to punch this break in.
Yeah, I think that's a smart call from them here. Their stack was looking kind of a mess as they were trying to catch up with that Jane Cook play. So I think this is a good time for them to get a breather, think about, this is sort of a crucial moment. If they can get this break here, we're going to get another look at sort of how we got here. This last throw D, Helm coming through on that break side.
Yeah, that's a tough one there, but we see this all the time. Rachel Johnson with her flick hook over to a streaking Cook, able to get there. Jane Cook keeping composure with the disc in her hands after this huge play, just waiting for her teammates to catch up to her.
And I think that's one of those throws where it comes off of Johnson's hands and it looks like there's sort of no chance. It's like, it's out on a rope. It's going too far, too fast. But, with a receiver like Cook, I think you got to watch to the very last second that disc hits the turf because she always has a shot at it.
And we'll see this offensive unit hoping to punch it in here. Little give and go action from Fenig and Taylor, something we've seen all game. Taylor with a break throw over to Wood, looking for the continue. Back to Taylor, up to Fenig. We see just playing 3-on-3 here, Wood, Taylor, and Fenig. And Fenig able to just put the coin in the coin slot, slipping it through.
And that is a big moment for this strike team, extending with another break to go up 8-5. Love this play call from the handler, or from the coaches, to go with this little handler dominator with the addition of Steph Wood. You have sort of throwers like Taylor and Fenig who like to work in those little spaces, just to give them the field and let them go to work. Yeah.
If you're New York's D-line there, though, it took them a lot of passes. There's some good pressure. They had to take a really skinny inside lane there for the goal, so I wouldn't be too upset if I was out there on D-line for New York.
Well, it looks like we are going to see Mascara coming over for this Gridlock O-line. I think, again, we can sort of be expecting them to look for some sort of quick boost, not be in a situation where they have to play a lot of grinding offense. And with that Alicia Carr pull going short and out of bounds, Cartagena will pick up in a very advantageous place. And we'll see the side stack is going to give Mascara all the room in the world.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to isolate her. Sarah Mextroth playing great D. Carr there able to come off the stack and poach that lane a little bit, but they'll reset it back to Cartagena. Looks like we got a pick call here in the stack.
Yeah, there's really smart defense there by the two strike players to deny Mascara both the away space and the under space, forcing them out of that set play and back into this vertical stack.
And we'll see Cartagena hit that inside shot to Mascara there. Mascara able to hit Barrett on the open side. Barrett looking for the continue cut, but able to find Cartagena back in that reset space. Looks like we got another pick here. We'll see if Newark's able to settle down a little bit. Seeing a couple picks during this possession, giving your teammates a chance to find their space.
Yeah, nice defense there from Peasley. Oh, but a great up the gut shot there from Cartagena.
That's Barrett there, resetting back to Nevis.
Looking she wanted the give and go. Barrett wasn't ready.
But able, dump, swing, score.
And that is a nice clean hold, sort of textbook vertical stack offense around and around and around that break side to give New York 6 to Minnesota Strike's 8. And I think, one thing that is sort of bears mentioning is sort of like what the stakes of this game is going into this game. Gridlock is ranked 3rd in the PUL, and the Strike is ranked 4th. And I think also it's worth mentioning that both of these teams are sort of, out front in the hunt for who's going to be that next PUL champion, with the champions of the last two seasons, Medellin, Revo, taking their show back, down to South America. And so I think that's sort of also in the background as we're watching these teams duke it out.
Yeah, Revo winning the past 2 PUL championships. We'll see Minnesota Strike's O-line here. Godfrey looking for options, resetting back to Fenig. Looks like New York Gridlock has 2 defenders sitting over the back of this stack, waiting for that huck from Fenig.
Yeah, not able to thread the needle on that inside-out look to Byers through sort of a sea of Gridlock defenders who had sort of sat in that open lane.
Even with 2 defenders over the top, a streaking Byers, Fenig is not afraid to shoot it. We'll see if this New York D-line is able to possess this disc up the field, bring Gridlock a little bit closer to tying the score.
Looks like there's a timeout called by New York Gridlock as they take the opportunity to maybe let those legs rest a little, reset a little bit, while we wait to see what sort of changes they make to hopefully punch this one in for their O-line. We'll give a little shout out to Urban Growler. Urban Growler is Minnesota's first women-owned microbrewery. They make traditional beers and a wide variety of specialty brews with a local twist. You can also find their beer on tap and in liquor stores around town. Urban Growler's mission is to bring people together through beer.
So we'll see Minnesota Strike bringing in a defensive unit here and Gridlock doing that with their offensive unit. One thing that Gridlock is missing tonight with the team that they traveled through is Angela Zhu. Some might say she is one of the best players in the world, playing for Dartmouth, and now she's coaching Northeastern this weekend at regionals.
Also a huge part of the Boston Brute Squad national championship legacy team.
Yeah, she's done a great job able to anchor this D-line from the handler space, somebody who they can really look to help work it up the field. But looks like they're doing okay without her tonight. We'll get some quick give-and-go action from De Jesus to Barrett. Those two playing together all last season for Exist.
Nice mark there by Paletto, not giving Finley anything she wants to that break side.
See a big mark here. Over to Tulsa Douglas. Paletto doing a good job there, peeling off the front of the stack, cutting off to Jesus's cut, but able to capitalize on that break side. And Cartagena again, able to hit that break side, her round backhand. She's able to get there. She's extending far.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing the disc moving through the hands of Douglas, Cartagena, De Jesus, and Finley to make that offensive point be a smooth one.
And it might not look like it with the players who are out there, but that's a break for New York. They're coming back. It's 7-8. Like we said, this is going to be a competitive game. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe all you had to do was start talking about Angela Zhu not being here.
And now
the rest of that D line is like, we're good. We got this. I think one thing maybe worth mentioning for people at home is that the rain has died down. It is not currently precipitating, and that means we've got a little bit more of our fans trickling in here, bringing a little bit more energy and some hometown vibes to the stadium.
Still
We
got a
were sort of
little
missing in the first quarter.
Yes, for sure. We got a big pull here, heading out of bounds. We got a little bit less than a minute and a half here. We'll see what Strike is going to decide to do. Are they going to hold the disc? Are they going to shoot it, give their D-line a chance to get the turn?
Fenning will take it to the middle of the field. A lot of room to work with this split stack. Finding Blahnik with the high release backhand.
Blahnik looking for options. Fennig able to get open. Thought about the deep shot there. Just going to head back to Blahnik. They're just marching up the field right now, taking the open looks. There's no rush here for the Strike.
There's no rush, but they've not got anyone cutting. All right, little release valve there, action from Randall.
Wood able to toe the line there. Good, again, this end zone over here. Everybody's toeing that line. They'll settle into their end zone offense here with Fennig, Taylor, and Wood. Got 10 seconds left in this quarter. This is last possession here. Strike, if they punch it in, it's a goal. They'll be up 8-7 or 9-7. They have all the time in the world here. Just gonna hit open hands. Wood, Taylor, and Fennig. Another great layout grab from Fennig. She's putting in a lot of work here tonight.
Oh, Blahnik looked open, but instead she finds a sliding Steph Wood to cap off a really impressively disciplined offensive point there for Minnesota Strike, going up 9-7 at the very end of this second quarter.
Yeah, that's a good half for the Strike. I think they're going to be happy with that heading into this second half. They'll be pulling, but if I'm the Minnesota Strike, I'm pretty happy with that halftime performance.
Yeah, I'm frankly a little surprised. I think that, this Gridlock team looks a little bit sort of maybe like they weren't expecting sort of this amount of polish, this amount of pressure defensively. I think having watched their game against Portland Rising, which is a very talented team, and it was similarly challenging conditions, they looked like a sort of well-oiled machine. And they just look like they're still they're needing to figure out how to play under some of those more challenging windows that this Strike defense is forcing them into. And then I think they are applying good pressure. We saw 2 layout attempts from this Gridlock O-line on their defense, but right now those big names kind of coming up big for Strike here in Fenning and Daly, as well as Byers. So we are going to take a little break for halftime, but we will have lots more action back here at Seafoam Stadium in St. Paul when we return.
Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com.
And we are back in the Seafoam Stadium, and we have an interview down on the field. I believe we're going to be talking to New York Gridlock coach Zara Kadu. We're excited to hear what she has to say.
All right. I'm here with Coach Eileen Murray of New York Gridlock. Coach, how are you feeling about that first half?
It was rough. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit hard. We came off a really good, powerful win last weekend in Portland, and so we're really looking forward to building on that. There are a little bit of growing pains right now. A couple of new people came in who weren't there last weekend, so I'm really hoping that we can clean up our offense in the second half and just start punching them in and then go on the break train.
Yeah, so speaking of new additions, I know we've all been excited to see Mosquera and Cartagena and Yonge. How have they been fitting in with your team so far this game and the last game?
Aki wasn't able to come to the last game, and you see her just dominating on defense right now. So, so close, got a first D, so, that's been amazing. We have such a nice, tight relationship with the Colombian players. I've been coaching against them for like 20 years, and so they really integrate very nicely into the New York community. We've been working really hard to learn some Spanish and translating all of our things into Spanish to make them feel welcome, and they seem to be really enjoying it, and it's just like that joy of play that's been really, really fun to watch.
And then going into the second half, you're at a point deficit. What are you telling the team what adjustments are you making? What are you telling the team?
Yeah, so like I said, just thinking about how we can clean up our offense, just being a little bit more confident. What I'm seeing a little bit is a little bit of hesitancy, both when we get the turn and also on our offensive line. So if we could just get rid of all the noise. Let's just play and have fun, look forward to this next half, and play confidently like we know you can.
All right, and there you have it. So again, this was Coach Murray. I'm Laura Osterlund, going back to you in the booth.
Awesome. Thank you. That was Coach Eileen Murray with New York Gridlock. My apologies for misidentifying you earlier. It is a long way down from the press box to the field. So we've got a little bit more halftime coming up here, so we're going to take another break, but we will be back with third quarter action very shortly.
Spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores. are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
And welcome back to Seafoam Stadium, where we've got our Minnesota Strike up 9-7 over visitors New York Gridlock. We're coming out of halftime. We had sort of a exhibition game between some of our Minnesota high school girls teams, which I think is really a cool thing for them to have this venue to do this. There are a number of Strike players who coach high school teams, and for people who are listening at home who maybe don't realize this because your commentating is so polished, Simone, you're actually in high school. So tell us a little bit about the high school scene here in Minnesota.
Yeah, we had down on the field today Egan Wildcats, Alicia Carr, number 00, coaching that team. And then Washburn High School also down there. That's I go to Washburn High School, unable to play for them this season, playing softball instead. But the Minnesota girls scene is on the come up. I'm sure you've heard of Edina Ultimate, but super fun that they've been able to get out here and play it in front of a bunch of fans.
Yeah, it's awesome environment for them. We're going to go back to the action. As I say that, sort of a weird stop in play there, but no foul called, and the disc will stay with Fenig, looking for Jareen Taylor.
Blahnik able there to get open on that break side. Looking for Fenig up line in power position. Thought about the deep look. Takes the reset back to Blahnik.
And she looked off the one to Randall, but this one to Byers. Little more space, little more separation from Becky Malinowski, and that is a sweet no turn hold for Minnesota Strike to take their lead up by one more, 10-7.
And you love that look from Fenig to Byers. That's a great throw. Byers able to just coast out. It's put on a platter for her. We'll take a look at this replay here.
So much space for Byers.
Just coasting.
The Discraft Ultra Star is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports.
And this live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com.
So we'll have Rachel Johnson on the pole here for Strike.
Great pull, putting them at about quarter field. They'll center up to Cartagena. Douglas able to find De Jesus in that inside lane.
Oh, low throw, but seems to be retrieved. Oh, but then thrown right into Sarah Moncheen's waiting hands for the New York turnover.
And we'll see Jane Cook going deep there from the Johnson Huck. Cook putting it out for Sarah Helm out on a platter. That is a great connection, and that's a break for the Strike, taking an 11-7 lead over New York.
I'm having this weird deja vu with the Rachel Johnson sort of laser huck to Jane Cook. Doesn't have to lay out this time, and actually that gives her in this instance, as opposed to the one we saw earlier, sort of enough time and space to look around and see Sarah Helm creating that continuation cut. We see her coming way from the bottom of your screen, and
Able
a
to
really
give-
nice touch throw from Cook to put that edge on it to keep it out of the defender's hands.
Yeah, Helm doing a great job, able to catch up to the play, giving Cook an upfield option. These Johnson Hucks, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they're working right now.
They are more than working. This is the biggest lead Strike has had this game, extending out 11-7. Going to have to see, you know, start of the second half. It was quick. It was a quick 2 points. Still plenty of time here left for Gridlock, but they're definitely going to need to have a little bit more discipline the closer they get to their end zone. They've had a couple of red zone turns now that have just been their downfall.
We'll see Mascara coming over to the O-line here, putting it deep, paying dividends, coming over onto this O-line. Emily Barrett able to bring it in.
A little bit unclear what the communication was there. It looked like it was going to be thrown into Barrett's back until she had that last second turnaround, but nice heads up play and nice reaction there with the hands to make sure that she holds on to that one. That is exactly what you want for if you are New York. This is a score that you complete with 4 throws, including one just absolutely beautiful inside-out flick from Mascara. I think, you know, she's sort of known more for her pulls, but she really does have touch throws, even in those really, you know, deep spaces. That was a really hard needle to thread. And if you're a young thrower, that's definitely one of those dream throws to be able to have and be able to work toward.
100%.
All right, so we see this D-line here loading up for Gridlock. I feel like with Malinowski on the disc, we don't actually see her on the pole, but we do see her taking that Fennig mark, and you see that really active mark. She's playing really close. I think the adjustment they're trying to make here is, can they take Fennig out a little bit as a thrower with those really long wingspan. And right there, they forced the disc to go through other people, and Taylor throws it away. Too low for Randall to scoop despite the big bid.
See if New York possesses this disc here. As soon as I say that, Randall
with the D.
coming in for the D. Now streaking off deep. Fennig able to pick up. She'll look for this big around to Randall, just in and out of the hands. Tough one-hand catch, going downwind towards her. See if she can get it back again.
Megan Randall, first-time player here with Strike. She moved to Minneapolis from New York City. She actually was one of the founders of Bent, and so she's playing against a lot of her former teammates.
And a great layout D from Robin Fennig. Great D, putting it out to Byers, a little bit too far, but this is what we like to see from the Minnesota O-line. Able to bring it back off of the turn. Fennig is not giving up.
And they're providing a lot of pressure here, not a lot of looks. It's a high stall count. Dreen Taylor with the catch block right there. In a good position for Strike's O-line.
Then around throw to Fennig. We'll see if they settle in here. Fennig looking for that up line, able to get it. Steph Wood able to get it on that break side. She's been doing that all game. It's been fun to watch.
She's going to need an outlet right now, but with Malinowski face guarding, they take advantage of that defensive mistake, and Fennig punches one in to Katie Godfrey.
That's right.
For
Katie
the
Godfrey, this is her first game with the Strike on the season, and she's playing great.
So let's get a look at this O-line fighting back to get that disc. Huge layout block. Fennig maybe feeling a little bit of wanting to get it back from earlier in the point. And I love this awareness, sort of that's really veteran connection here. both by Steph Wood to recognize that Malinowski isn't checking in with the disc, and for Fenig to realize that if she can throw in that first second after she's received it, that Malinowski is so tuned in on her that she has no idea what's behind her. And that is a nice hold after a little bit of back and forth to take Minnesota up 12-8 over New York Gridlock.
Yeah, we're getting some excitement here from the crowd. This will be a big defensive point for the Strike. Got a big pull there. It'll go right towards the sideline. Peck going down, stopping that initiating throw, but able to get it off.
Not a lot of cutters downfield right now, and just as I say that, sneaking away from Helm.
That's Amy Jo. Not a name that we've called a lot tonight, but somebody who had a great season with Boston Brute Squad. And she has been doing a great job just filling in for this team tonight.
Yeah, Jo's a really explosive player, and see that coming out in that possession before Nariah Bell-Sims with a great body positioning, great read, gives the disc to Strike's D-line.
Johnson here picking up on the corner. Douglas there, big mark.
I think there was a tip, or was did that just come out of her hands wrong? It's hard to tell from where we are, but great field positioning right on the goal line for Cartagena. Oh, and just getting to see that Jo athleticism that we were just talking about with a little shimmy step to that open side, gets away from Helm, and that will be a hold for Gridlock.
Take another look here. Just able to get there, Jo. Just knowing what her thrower wants. Gets Helm with a little 1-2 and gets to that open side.
So yeah, not a clean hole, but if you're New York, I think you're pretty happy with the amount of energy your O-line expended on that. I mean, they're not. I would say one thing that's sort of interesting between these two teams is that New York doesn't run strict O&D lines. You know, I thought maybe earlier in the season it was them just trying to figure out where their chemistry is, since they have players coming from a bunch of different clubs. We've got, you know, Brute Squad and Exist. We've also got Bent players, and even I think someone coming from Cincinnati Steamboat. But they're sort of sticking with this more fluid system, whereas Strike runs a really clear set of O and D lines.
And here we have a great Mascara pull going just about 70 yards, hanging up in the air. Strike able to work it up the field, though.
Now, this is something new for New York. They're forcing more of a backhand here for the first time.
Yeah, seeing if they can take away those around backhands from these Strike handlers.
And yeah, a useful defensive adjustment. We see that flick from Fenig, just turf into the disc, and now Mascara airing one out. Oh, just over the fingertips of her stretching receiver. That's number 27. Aki Young couldn't reel it in. And we'll see if Strike's throwers can sort of recalibrate here with that downwind flick break.
They're keeping this backhand force here. Taylor able to get around that. Blahnik back to Taylor. Over to Fenig in the middle. See if we can get some cuts. And there's a hand block. This backhand force seems to be working for New York, Megan.
Yeah, I think this is a really smart adjustment. And with the quick flick in from number 48, Lisa Kowalski, with the high release backhand to Mascara, that is a break back, and a big break for this New York Gridlock team, closing that gap. 10 trailing Minnesota's 12. Yeah, I love this adjustment. you know, clearly they're also still putting a big mark on Fenning. We had Malinowski the last point. We've got Kowalski on this one, and she's clearly done her homework about where that release point is for Fennig. And, you know, I'll be curious to see if it's something they stick with, if it's something they just sort of throw out, you know, one time to try to keep them, you know, knock them off balance, not get in too much of a rhythm, and then they go back to maybe the zone that we were seeing earlier, which was able to generate some turns. You know, we're sort of getting into the point in the game where if you're going to stay in this as New York, you really have to start trying something different than what you've been doing for your D-line. So it'll be really interesting to see what this line right now comes out as this Becky Malinowski pull comes up.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of defensive pressure New York is able to bring to this Strike O-line. Strike with a different offensive unit out there. They're bringing in their flex line, some not necessarily new faces. They've been playing a lot of defense tonight, but all of these players able to play O.
That was a nail biter of a catch there from Adrian Baker under pressure, but well held, and now back to Ekstrom.
Ekstrom pointing where she wants the disc, looking deep. Resetting back to Baker. Max with a nice under. And there's that Sarah Mexstroth flick. And Baker, that's Sadie Redding able to just get under it. She read it well. Seemed like she knew that that disc was going to be fading towards that far sideline.
Yeah, but I mean, we hadn't seen hammers from anyone besides Fenning. Carr showing she's got that throw as well. But these were all very tight windows here. This Mexstroth forehand really hung up. Redding doing a nice job to adjust and come back to it under that double coverage. You know, if you're New York Gridlock, I think you have to feel a little bit disappointed that you got that close on, you know, that many of those passes, that point, and, you know, sort of came up short. But
that Strike flex line there, able to get the job done, able to punch it in. Might not have been the prettiest, but it worked.
It worked, and it also accomplished getting your O-line to get a little bit of a break, knowing that you may need them later in the game, you know, if Gridlock manages to pull another break back. So, you know, sort of something that may pay off later as we get deeper into this game. Little bobble, but hung on by De Jesus.
Cartagena able to get open on the reset, looking for that inside shot to Douglas, but able to get there on that open side. That's a great throw there by Douglas. Little high release blade. Gets Cartagena on the break side. And there is another score and another assist for Gina Cartagena.
Yeah, and that was finding number 66, Janine Hlavety, for the nice goal there, the nice hold. Yeah, this looks more like the New York Gridlock that I was sort of expecting to see. You have these sort of circular cuts that are coming from the front of the stack from Cartagena, from Douglas. They're finding each other with those nice little touch throws. Do that enough times and you create some space where your mark is all of a sudden worried about that and starts to cheat a little bit. And then that backhand opens up to that streaking cutter. And that was just really sort of a nice display both of sort of field awareness and field intelligence, as well as those throwing skills to hit those tight windows.
Yeah, we'll see. We have the Minnesota O-line out there again. Familiar faces there on that O-line. One thing you talked about earlier in the game was how fluid New York was playing with their lines. Minnesota having pretty strict O-line, which you see out on the field now, and then that flex line playing O and D, and then that D line just playing with those players, building a lot of chemistry. Fennig looking for an option, finds Blanik on the break side. They're headed back to this flick force.
Malinowski making things tough for Fennig, has to put one up, but Blanik providing that release valve there.
Yeah, Blahnik's done a good job this game, just able to find those open spaces. And with a defender with Mascara on her, that's not an easy thing to do.
Aki Young's layout comes up short, but Danielle Byers with one of her own to save that possession there, and the hammer for the reset.
Seems like Fenig has inspired a new generation of strike hammer throwers in this game.
Yeah, if you're an observer of Midwest Ultimate, you'll know that it is not a feature of the sport here. So fun to see it spreading a little bit.
Fenig able to lead Randall to that open side. Randall resetting back to Taylor. Wood, great catch under pressure, dump and swing there. We've seen that all night from the strike offense, playing super disciplined. We'll see little isolation set for Wood, Fenig, and Byers. Mascara peeling off there from the back of the stack, clogging that lane.
Oh, and just, so you said that disc trying to just float one for Fenig goes too far, can't come up with the bid. And now Mascara and Kim Meyer are just off to the races.
Mascara exploding up the line. You see that speed there. One of the fastest players in the game. Marching it up all the way 5 yards outside of the end zone, and they're able to punch in that break.
And
that's huge.
That's huge. That's Luisa Neves catching that assist from Nola Kim Mayer. And
it's a 1 point game, Megan.
It's a
close.
game. It's a 1 point game. Strike had a 4 point cushion at one point in this game, and that has now shrunk quite a bit, and we can see the the energy shift on the field right now. There's Gridlock players running around, arms up in the air. We've got a lot of players from Strike walking to the sidelines, trying to check in with their teammates. I think one thing I was going to say before when the Strike was on their own or on the end zone they were going to try to score, and it was how much trust it was clear they were exhibiting in each other, because these were really tight windows. There were a lot of bids that New York was pulling up, and they were just continuing to find these nice passes, these nice little windows. And I feel like right as I was about to say that trust pass that you could put one up sort of over Becky Malinowski, there was a little bit of miscommunication on which side of that mark it was going to go, and that was the difference that has allowed Gridlock back in here.
See a great pull here from Mascara, pinning Strike in that back corner. We see that flex line out here again for Strike. New York coming out with a little bit of a zone. They're coming out with a little bit of a power line here for New York, bringing Cartagena over to the defensive line, hoping that if they are able to get a turn, she's able to bring it in. We'll see Ekstrom here shooting it to Sarah Mextroth. Great fade on that. Right to the break stride, right over Mascara's head. Got 30 seconds left here in this quarter.
Nice around break there by Mex to relieve that pressure. Fun to see her in this handler position. She and Peasley going to work outside this end zone. Oh, and Alicia Carr just gets free. Just total foot race, wins that matchup against Anna Wyson to that front cone. And a crucial hold for Strike's flex line, receiving the disc, getting it done. Extending that lead back to 2 as they go up 14-12 late in this third quarter.
And Alicia Carr and Sarah Mextroth have played together for a long time. Alicia and Mex both on that Dragon team together when they won 3 club championships in a row. Alicia headed to California next weekend to play with the USA Ultimate national team for beach. She'll be playing with the Masters team, so we'll be excited to watch her there represent the U.S. Hopefully she'll come back with some hardware.
I hope that for her too, as my past and future Cougars teammate in the women's Masters division. Excited to be playing with her again this summer. She plays a lot of Frisbee.
She sure does. And coaches a lot of Frisbee. Alicia's someone who lives and breathes Frisbee, doing a lot for the Minnesota Ultimate community.
Last possession.
This will be the last possession of the quarter, with Cartagena taking over with a wide open Finley on that open side.
Douglas able to get open on that under there. Good move. And just a little bit too far out in front of Zoe Hecht. Taking a little bit of a hit to the chest there, but that's the end of the third quarter. Strike 14, Gridlock 12. And we got an exciting game here going into the fourth quarter. Megan, I'll be excited to see how this ends.
Yeah, I think Gridlock has done a really impressive job at sort of pulling themselves back into this, finding some momentum, creating, generating that for themselves, and they are taking us into this fourth quarter with a real game on our hands. And so we're going to take a little break, but come back for all that action back here at Seafoam Stadium in St. Paul in just a little bit.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Welcome back to quarter four. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate, providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com.
All right, we are back with fourth quarter action with Strike in black pulling to New York Gridlock in white.
Maggie Peck there trying to get that run through D. Got a good pull here. Lots of pressure. Get a pick call here. I'll stop possession. Douglas will have to head back over to Johnson.
Big call made.
Doesn't look like there's a lot of disagreement. Paletta back on that mark.
Great defense there by Peck. Douglas able to get open on the up line. Thought about the deep shot to Barrett. A little bit of contact there on the mark from Paletto. No harm, no foul, though. Cartagena looking for that deep shot. Able to put it out into space. Douglas able to run onto it despite the pressure of Sarah Manchin on the backside.
just outside the end zone, and we got a little bit of contact as De Jesus comes running in.
Looks like the disc will head back to Cartagena. We got a stall call here by Paletto. We'll see what the discussion is here.
This is probably, we haven't had many calls this game, so we haven't had to talk about them, but we should mention that we do have observers down there on the field. Our observers for this game are Carl Nelson and Steve Ogdahl. So thank you for being here, being a part of this. Obviously, a lot of things that have happened so far have just been moderated by players, but we do see those orange shirts stepping in here.
Looks like we got a contested stall here, so the stall will come in at 8. Cartagena just having to put it, and Cook is able to just sit right under it. And Strike looking to capitalize here.
So a real change of fortune from Douglas on your end zone to having to play defense.
A laser inside shot from Johnson to Sims. Paletto finding Cook on that break side. Looking for it again, and right off the hands of Sarah Manchin, having to lay out for it, just in and out.
Nice movement by strike handlers there. Paletto just maybe taking not enough time to set up her cut or her throw. Lasers that one in, and now Gridlock is chasing down the huck. That's Barrett reeling it in a pack and finding Douglas on this near end zone.
Just skying over the pile. Douglas finding De Jesus on the break side. De Jesus will give and go up the sideline. Cook looking for the switch with Johnson, not able to hear it, but still got a close one here. That New York O-line able to get it back, able to work it up the field despite some turns.
Yeah, just heartbreak here for if you're a strike defender. We get another look at that amazing grab under pressure. Barrett really doing a lot of being asked of her by the thrower, and coming up equal to the task, and then really nice little give-go movement from De Jesus finishes that off. I like the adjustment that Gridlock has been making here with their O-line, where they've been sending Douglas downfield, and they've been working, allowing her to work in the cutter space, because when you have she's very tall. She's a threat to go deep, but then if she comes underneath, she obviously has the throwing prowess, and all of her teammates know that. And so I think that adjustment has been working well for them as they sort of inch closer and are on the hunt for an equalizing break here.
And we are really in for a treat tonight with these mascara pulls. These are incredible.
Yeah, just pinning Fenning back on that downwind sideline at the 5-yard line.
Strike working back in their own end zone, and Kayla Blahnik with a great layout. That is something that she does not do often. I was talking with her a little bit before the game, asking whether or not we were going to see a layout, and she said, definitely not. I don't know how to lay out. So,
well,
not a woman of her word.
If not trained, then at least instinctual.
A little bit too high of a throw there for Randall, and New York with a chance to tie the game on a break.
That's Kowalski with the disc there, floating one out for a huge bidding Nikki. Is that Nikki Hare? Yeah, number 88, Nikki Hare. And they are going to immediately call the timeout as they're about 15 yards out from the end zone in which they could equalize this game.
They could. They'll bring in this offensive unit. We'll see what they're able to do, if they're able to punch it in.
Well, while we wait for them to figure out what they're going to do to set up, I want to talk about the Black Heart of St. Paul, which is a queer soccer bar in the heart of Midway. It's a bar that brings people together for a drink, drag, or an ultimate watch party if you're looking for somewhere to go after this game, the Black Heart. And we also want to shout out Cream and Amber, which is a bookstore located in Hopkins, serving craft beer, coffee, and food made with local ingredients. They bring people together to read more books, drink good beer, and share in community.
Some fun places to go this weekend. You won't find me there. Can't drink yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You might find my parents there, though. All right, we're back. Douglas with the disc here. Some great pressure.
Oh, and Mexstroth and DeJesus both with their hands on that disc. That disc was underthrown. Mex had great positioning. Going to get another look, see if we can slow that down.
Now, if the observers do rule it a tie does go to the offense, just like in baseball. But we'll see what they decided. They'll have a little bit of a discussion. We'll see Mex and DeJesus act it out here for us.
Yeah, you can see DeJesus was starting to cut to that inside out, and Douglas' little miscommunication was still throwing to that open side. Both of them able to get a hand at the same time, but it looks like it will stay with New York Gridlock.
We'll see them work in this end zone set. Cartagena with a high release flick to Douglas on the break side and able to just flip it in to DeJesus. And we are tied. Gridlock able to work out of that 4-goal deficit. It's 14-14. We got 7 minutes left. We'll see how this game ends. It'll be exciting. We said you were in for an exciting game tonight, and you definitely are.
Yeah, this is just DeJesus going to work. The disc started with her out of that discussion, but it's really the Cartagena high release flick that opens everything up there. That is not a throw that a lot of players have, and so it's not a throw that a lot of marks are expecting. Had such nice touch on it, and after that it was just 1-2 off to the races. So 14-14 at this point in the game. This is as much an issue of sort of physical stamina as well as mental stamina. This is the closest the game has been since we started, and we're going to get a look at this strike O-line with the disc starting as expected with Fenning and Katie Godfrey.
Got a little bit of a junk look here from the New York D-line. Wood able to get open. And we see Sarah Mexstroth coming over on this O-line. This is the first change we've seen all game from strike. Mex coming in, maybe having Mex and Byers out on that line. And we see a big put.
That was Daly with the blade over to Byers.
Yeah, Daly and Mexstroth coming over from that flex line.
Oh, and just the Fenning Mexstroth connection, getting it done there with a nice, smooth, clean hold to take it 15 Minnesota, 14 New York.
And
we're going to get another look at this Daly throw that opens everything up. You can see that that's just arcing over the shoulders of those defenders there. And then the easy sort of handler motion to finish it off. You can see kind of the legs there in the Gridlock defenders. A little bit slow in getting that mark around late in this game, and Fennig taking every opportunity to exploit it.
And this live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate, providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com. We saw another Johnson roller pole there, trying to pin New York on that sideline. We're seeing a little bit of mixing of lines here from the strike. We see Peasley out there on this D-line. Barrett able to get that under. New York has done a really good job in this second half, taking what's open to them, grinding these unders, not worrying about shooting it. As soon as I say that, Tulsa Douglas shooting it, and a great grab. That is Amy Zhou. That's the athleticism we were talking about. Skying over Emma Peasley.
And I think one thing to note here is we saw Rachel Johnson coming down on Tulsa Douglas, and Johnson is a really incredible thrower, but she is a smaller framed person, and Douglas sort of able to just step out with this big backhand, even though Johnson's in a decent position. And then Joe just goes to work. I don't know. I feel like I got a little confused by the lines for a second, but you know, if she was trying to toe it in, and that's why her legs were sort of pulled back like that. But
in any case, it was an
it was an
incredible
incredible
grab.
All right, so things remain close, and we see Mex and Daly staying on this offensive line for strike, along with the other players we've seen that they're all game in Wood, Daly, Blahnik, and Godfrey.
Yeah, we're getting into crunch time here for both of these teams. Strike really wanting to hold on these offensive points. We're seeing another one of these gut check D lines out here, bringing Cartagena over for this offensive point.
Yeah, kill line for kill line here.
Yes, for sure.
Oh,
Blahnik
under pressure. Oh, and then finding Daly. Love that composure.
See if we can get an upfield cut here. A little bit of a tough angle. We see New York wrapping on these marks, just denying all of the resets. And it looks like we're going to get a call here. We're going to get a stall call here. So these two players will discuss it.
Yeah, we're seeing, I mean, something, it looks like it's been called back.
Looks like it'll be retracted. Disc will stay with Fenig.
Yeah, something that we're seeing a little bit from these Gridlock defenders is some rotation on the mark when these dump looks are going off, which is leaving some other break looks open. But just as I say that, Steph Wood comes up with the big overhead grab on an open side huck that just kind of arcs over to that break side.
Steph Wood, she is putting in the work, not a name that people might know. She does all of the little things right. Able to grab that, so much composure with the left hand. Maybe her softball background came into play there.
I like that you would like to think that, but yeah. No, I love that there's sort of that check-in, you know, this stall is getting high. You see Steph Wood just take that initiative, and I love that she makes her cut. She sort of starts that cut by veering off to that break side, as opposed to just going straight away or closing down that window. And that really allows a thrower like Fenig to put the disc exactly where the defenders are not, even as you have Mascara pulling off the back and trying to help there.
And we're going to see another little bit mix of lines here. We're going to see Taylor out there on this D line, as well as Randall, maybe allowing this line to work it up the field, able to facilitate that disc, having an open reset.
We got Taylor marking up on Cartagena at this point. That's Joe at the disc. Nice break around. Oh, but just a little too low. I think there was some contact from Randall on that mark. No contest, so it will stay with Joe.
Randall and Joe, just two incredibly athletic players. It'll be fun to see them matched up together here. Looking to shimmy out of there, able to get that backhand around off. De Jesus able to get there, looking for that upline give and go that we've seen tonight.
But Peasley doing well to close it down, and saw a pick happen in that stack. De Jesus having to throw that disc back. I love how if you're a young player and you like want to watch a player with someone with a nose for the end zone, you watch De Jesus sort of give go, head for the strike, and when it doesn't go off, immediately come back for that IO. And as I say that, two of her teammates getting the job done. Cartagena finding Douglas again with that high release flick. Something's got to be. Someone's breaking marks, breaking hearts with that throw.
Breaking marks, breaking hearts. I like that. Yeah, Cartagena just hitting all of the spots. She's got a lot of throws, smiling as she's winding up for that. She knows what she wants, and so does Douglas. All right, we are tied here again, 16-16. We'll see this Minnesota O-line now with Mex and Daly out there. Hopefully, I'm sure they're hoping to close out this game. If you're out down there on that O-line, what are you thinking about right now?
Ooh, trying not to think too much about exactly what's happening. I think, going out, just winning my matchup would be, the thing I would be telling myself and not worry about sort of anything else. And I think that's a mindset that can be hard to cultivate, but I think people who've played in big games like Fennig and Mexstroth certainly have a lot of experience in getting there.
Yeah, we see lots of high pressure here from New York. Daly able to slip through a little bit too high in front of Byers, and we have a break chance for Gridlock. They punch us in. They take their first lead of the night tonight.
Yeah, this is a potentially huge possession for New York. Mascara going to work on Mexstroth.
Thinking about the deep look. Has a nice under there. Gridlock doing a good job just possessing the assist, taking what's open for them.
Oh, and into 3 strike defenders. That's Nola, Kim, Mayer, just taking the first lead of the game for New York Gridlock.
And that is huge. That's a huge momentum shift for New York. Strike with their hands up on the field, trying to stay excited, stay in it. The game is far from over.
Yeah, I think, you're seeing there, we've seen a few times when this strike O-line has lost possession late in this game that Fennig has looked sort of slow to catch up to that mark. And, when you're an O-line player and your main job is to throw your teammates open, it can be a challenge, especially when playing for as long as Fennig has, to be out there running around with these matchups late in the game. So I think we're just seeing a little bit of that fatigue coming out, but no fatigue from Kim Mayer, and both I think sort of the nose for the disc as well as the body control not to come into contact with all those strike defenders who are in the area. But this is going to be a real test for this strike team. This is the first game that it's not just the first time in this game that they've been down. I think it's the first time perhaps all season that they have been down, and so this is a place that probably feels unfamiliar.
Yeah, we'll see how
and with 2 minutes left, like not a lot of room to make adjustments. Kind of got to figure it out right now.
Yeah, less than 2 minutes left. We'll see how Strike does, facing a little bit of adversity here, but taking a timeout, giving an opportunity for these lines to regroup, taking a little bit of a deep breath. Looks like out on the line, we also have Emma Peasley coming over. Looks like we have Fennig, Blahnik, Mexstroth, Byers, Daly, Godfrey, and Peasley out there for this offensive point, and really a crucial offensive point. That PUL landing out of bounds, Fennig will be able to take this up and start this offense.
So going again with that spread offense, giving cutters like Peasley and Mexstroth a lot of room to work here. Peasley taking that first under.
Blahnik streaking deep, not quite there. Good pressure on that mark there by Amy Zhou. Able to find Byers on that under. Peasley doing a great job She's got some sharp cuts. High throw to Mex, but Mex is able to come down with it.
And nice presence to keep the disc moving over to that break side there, and finishes off with a beautiful pinpoint throw from Emma Peasley, who just did work that whole point. Glad to see her getting that assist there to even things up, 17-17.
We're in crunch time now, Megan. We got 1 minute and 20 seconds left. The game is tied at 17s. Strike put that in pretty quickly, so New York will have a little bit of time to try and work it down the field, but this fourth quarter is a little bit different than all of the other quarters. With the, instead of end of possession, whoever has the disc at double zeros, it is buzzer beater style, so.
And I mean, which is very different from, other forms of Ultimate where you play to a point. You watch a lot of the PUL. How does it change team strategies coming down at the end of the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think especially for the Minnesota Strike being a pretty new team last year, being their first year, they struggled a little bit last year with these new end of quarter situations. So putting a lot of emphasis in their practice time, especially with end of games, knowing that if there's a few seconds left, they're able to work it up the field and hopefully get a shot off. But adding Robin Fenig, able to huck it forehand, backhand has been really nice.
So it's Finley with the disc now for Gridlock in this crucial O possession.
See Cartagena looking for an option. Joe able to get open. Cartagena again. Jane Cook looking, hunting for that D.
And it looks like there was some contact as De Jesus was trying to reel it in and toe the sideline at the same time.
It'll be an uncontested foul here with De Jesus and Mex, so the disc will stay here. They're about 20 yards outside of their end zone. We'll see if they're able to stay patient.
Into this vertical stack now, little inside throw opens things up over to Finley. Oh, but
and that's an Emma Peasley hand block, everybody. Looking for that inside lane, and Peasley says no. We have 30 seconds left here, looking to work it up the field, and there will be a timeout.
Timeout called by Minnesota Strike.
Well, we'll see here. Looks like the observers saying might be a New York timeout, but no, it's a Strike.
All right. Well, that certainly, we're certainly setting ourselves up for a real barn burner here right down to the end. We had talked about Emma Peasley, not having been in their last game and what kind of an impact she was going to have this week. We saw her doing it on the offensive side. And now, that contribution, that clutch defensive block here, giving Strike the opportunity to be the last ones to score late in this fourth quarter. We did sort of review what would happen if we went into overtime. I don't know that we thought how likely it was going to be. So if that happens, we will remind you all of the situation. But for now, Strike will take over with Fenig on the disc, and they will have 24 seconds to play.
So we'll see. Strike has a long way to go. 20 seconds left here. Fenig able to dig it up. Big mark here with Malinowski. Mex able to get there, and looks like we have a Strike score.
But we also have a injured Mascara down on the field in that contact with Mexstroth right before that disc went up. So let's hold our applause until we can get a better read. on the situation.
Mosquera also somebody coming back from an ACL injury a couple of years ago, so hoping that she's okay down there on the field. Looks like she has some teammates checking in with her.
And a reminder that, you know, when an injury occurs and is called, that play stops. And so it is likely that the outcome of the situation will not be a Blahnik goal, but the disc back with Megstrath and putting more time on the clock. Unless there was also a foul on the play, in which case, well, then there's a whole other set of things that might happen. But we'll get another look at the layout from Fenig to maintain possession, and then we'll get a look at the throw to Blahnik.
So just Mosquera, just knees giving out a little bit. Blahnik is there.
And it doesn't look like there was contact on the play. It was kind of at that little change of direction. The throw will be coming back, but unlikely that a foul will have been called. It's always unfortunate, as you said, with a player who's had a knee injury to see that kind of reaction to that change of direction. We just saw her kind of crumple under absorbing that that impact from that change of direction. And Mosquera, you know, of course, has ambitions of really being a professional ultimate player, a professional athlete. And so it's just devastating for something like this. We'll just keep all our good vibes coming out for her on the field and hope it's not something that serious.
So we'll take a little bit of a break here, allow these teams to settle down a little bit, and hoping that Mosquera is okay down there on the field.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Welcome back to the very final moments of this fourth quarter. The disc will be coming back to Sarah Megstrath at the point where that injury happened. Mosquera has been helped off the field. We don't know yet how much time has been added to the clock, but that will happen shortly. And we'll know exactly how much time they have left to play. As you can see in the screen, the rain has started again. So an epic finish here. 7 seconds.
Putting that up there. Blahnik unable to come down with it, and we will end the game there, tied 17-17, heading to overtime.
And we said this was going to be an exciting game. I don't think we knew it was going to come down to the wire like this, but we are going to be going into this 4-minute overtime here. We'll review exactly what that means and soon so we can find that. But we're going to take a little break while they get that started. There's going to be a coin flip. We're going to know who's taking over possession to start here in overtime when we come back.
Spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Before that timeout, though, we actually have 2 seconds of regular time on the clock, so we're going to play that out.
Looks like they'll just hold it, though.
And that now is officially the end of the fourth quarter.
And that's the end of regulation here. We'll be headed to overtime.
Yeah, so overtime is 4 minutes of clock time. A coin flip is going to decide which team will pull receive. They're going to do that right now. We're going to take a break, but we will be back with the outcome.
4 minutes on the clock.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Steffi's going every other right now. With the 1-2.
And we are back at Seafoam Stadium in St. Paul for overtime in our game between Minnesota Strike and New York Gridlock, coming down to the wire. Just a reminder for those of you watching, we're going to have a 4-minute overtime. During the first 2 minutes, the clock will stop with each score, and it will resume with each pull as in regulation. And during the last 2 minutes of overtime, the clock will stop on all scores, calls, and out-of-bounds turnovers, as in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. At the end of this overtime, once the clock shows 0 at the buzzer, the play ends. When the result of that throw is determined, if the game is still tied after the result, we will go to a second overtime. And Minnesota Strike is starting on defense as Robin Fenning releases a pull.
Strike tightening up lines here, crossing players over from O&D. Looks like we got a big put here up to Emily Barrett. Cook able to just seal her off on that backside, and Strike will have a chance here on offense.
Yeah, that pressure from Cook making Barrett go up for that disc when it was still overhead. And quick turn of possession here will give Daly and Johnson working that disc in their own end zone.
Looks like we have a little bit of a poach in the lane here by these handler defenders on New York, really trying to clog those open side lanes, make these Strike handlers take as many passes as possible. Fennig will swing the disc back and reset for Daly. New York, again, wrapping on these marks, making it hard to get these resets off.
Nice little pass to Daly, though, over her face-guarding defender. It's Monshine with the disc now for Strike. Finds that break around to Peasley.
Peasley with a high release, backhand, getting a little tip on there. Mex looking for that back shoulder. A little bit of contact there between Jane and Cook, but between Barrett and Cook.
Oh, and a Biddy Monshine can't pull it up.
And they're looking deep for Cartagena, but just a little bit too far. And
so after trading some deep looks with some deep turnovers, Daly will resume possession for Strike, looking for this break.
And Barrett just really shading Jane Cook under, really threatened by her deep prowess and her speed. So we'll see if Cook is able to take advantage of that.
Nice use of the width here. Maxstroth finding Monshine.
Swing over to Johnson, able to find Maxstroth. And Maxstroth gonna put it to Jane. Like I said, that deep game from Jane Cook, able to blow by her defender. And that's what we like to see coming out of overtime. Strike on defense, and that's a break.
That is a break, although, you know, I feel like in overtime, maybe maybe breaks don't matter as much as they would in regulation. But let's get another look at that Jane Cook being 100% sure. 2 hands on the disc is in this rainy end zone. And, yeah, I love this discipline from this Strike D-line, which is, although it's D, they're loaded up with Maxstroth as well as with Fennig. But they really had sort of impressive presence of mind to just, you know, not be forcing things into that corner after you had the first Maxstroth turnover. You know, that was sort of that upwind over the shoulder. They kind of calmed things down, played their game. They are taking a timeout right now, so this is going to give New York Gridlock a little bit of that icing situation. Well, they've got their 7-0 out on the line. So, yeah, I mean, I think, what do you expect to see from Gridlock in terms of responding to that based on who you see out there, what we've seen so far? What's this O-line going to do to answer back?
I would expect that if I were down there on the field, I would just take what the defender is giving me and not try to force anything. I'm not forcing anything deep. I hope that Gridlock is able to just work it up the field. The Minnesota Strike are keeping those same 7 out there, hoping to punch in another break. And this will be exciting. We have just about a minute and 30 seconds left here in OT, and it is truly coming down to the wire. See a big pull here from Robin Fenig, hanging up there for a long time, able to get Johnson down there. And there is the turn.
Just overthrow there past the bidding number 83, Zoe Hecht. And there's Peasley again, finding some space.
Looking for that reset for Fenig.
Oh, but a miscommunication. Tulsa Douglas, the only one on the disc, gives it right back to New York.
New York with just about a minute left to work. They're working it up the field, back to Douglas, but looks like before they're able to head off to the races, there's a pit call. Disc will go back. Everybody will get a little bit of a chance to calm down here. But New York, 20 yards out of their end zone, down by 1.
A real squandered opportunity for this line for Minnesota. Now they're back on their heels. Douglas with a low one. Oh, that one can't be brought in.
So Strike here with a chance to hold and win. They don't, Strike does not, I don't believe Strike needs to score here. They'll just play catch. Just under 30 seconds left. Fenig over to Mexstroth.
Not a lot of movement down here from Strike's cutters, and really tight defensive pressure on the handlers, forces a Mexstroth hammer.
But looks like we have a stall called back at the throw. Looks like it'll be retracted.
And this goes up into a pack. But it's Monshine who comes down with it in the end. And with that,
the Minnesota Strike pull it out in a nail-biter. 18-17 is your final score here tonight. We told you at the beginning of this game this was going to be a good one. And, you know, Megan, I think it was.
These are two teams who are in the hunt for a PUL championship. They came out here with a lot on the line. I expect this to be a preview of what we're going to see in the playoffs, and they certainly delivered for all of the fans who stuck it out through the rain and the wind and the lightning delay, and that was an absolute pleasure of a game to watch.
Strike staying undefeated on the season, 4-0. They'll close out the rest of their season over these next coming weeks. New York going 1-2, but putting up a great fight and a great show for us here tonight.
And we're going to get a little bit of that Minnesota Strike home team love for for this team that pulled it out. Yeah, I think this is, you know, we're going to get a look at some of the incredible highlights from this game, but this is, I think, was the hardest test of Minnesota Strike's strategy that they've put together this season. You know, as you've mentioned, they're playing these, you know, strict lines. They've got a plan. They've loaded up with some of this world-class talent. And there was some question about how people like Sarah Mexstroth and Robin Fenning were going to fit into these teams. And I think this game answers it decisively. They are not just their superstars. They really are deep, and we saw that from the number of scores and the number of highlights and blocks and layouts that we saw from players like Naraya Bell Sims, like Steph Wood, like Danielle Byers. You know, it was an all around. Adrian Baker had an incredible first half with so many plays on this near sideline. And yeah, just very, very excited for
the Minnesota Strike all around, just putting on a great show. Every player showing off their talent. I think the Strike has really found their identity this season, and it's only up from here.
It's only up from here. We think we may have an interview down on the field. So if you can stick around with us, we're going to hear from one of the Strike players to talk about, you know, what this game means to them, what it felt like down on the field, maybe talk about, you know, sort of those swings in momentum that we saw late in this game and how they were able to withstand that pressure that New York Gridlock was putting on right at the end to pull out, you know, what is really sort of a top tier win for them. And yeah, do we know where our Minnesota Strike go next? Who they've got? They're I can't remember if they're going to be on the road or not.
They are on the road.
Oh, here we go.
June 2nd to Milwaukee. They'll be playing at Breeze Stevens Field, and then next couple weekends from now, they'll be playing Columbus Pride here at Seafoam Stadium, and that is an exciting game. They have a doubleheader with the Minnesota Wind Chill, the AUDL counterpart to the Minnesota Strike. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans at that game. But just 2 games left to close out the season, and looks like it'll be a good one.
Yeah, and we'll get to see. So from here, New York has another game tomorrow. They're heading to Milwaukee to play the Monarchs on this road trip. And then they're going to be back home later in the month playing DC Shadow, another team that is in the hunt for the championship. They're ranked number 1 right now in the PUL. And then they'll have Austin Torch at the beginning of June. So certainly a lot of room for them left to, you know, put these pieces together and make a run at that playoffs.
And we are going to get an interview from Steph Wood tonight. A treat. Steph Wood, an amazing player. She really showed out tonight. I'm glad people are starting to know her name.
I'm here with Steph Wood after that overtime win for Strike. Steph, congratulations. I mean, that end zone grab was amazing. Thank you. How are you feeling?
I feel amazing. Truly amazing. Like, we knew this was going to be a really tough matchup coming into this weekend's game, and it was just amazing for all of us to kind of have some mental toughness through the delay during warm-ups, and then to just come out here and play a really hard and gritty fought game. Like, it was a lot of fun. Everyone on the team played amazing today.
So knowing that Gridlock is a tough team, they had some really good pickups, they have a strong roster. What do you think we did well this game, or Strike did well?
Yeah, I think we did a great job utilizing like the full depth of our roster. I think especially watching our like D lines today, I just think how they like owned their matchups and then like dug within themselves to grind and just have such like beautiful offensive flow off of turnovers. I was really impressed by that. And I think offensively, it was just a lot of fun. I think we did a great job just keeping the disc alive, and I was pretty proud of our like end of quarter possessions. I think we did a good job minding the clock.
So going into our next game on the 20th, how are you going to use what you learned from this game going into that one?
Yeah, I think just up and up all season. I think every game, just getting these experiences together and these reps together, we're just growing and learning as a team, and it's just really fun to see just what we take from reviewing this film and improving our game up and up all season.
All right, and finally, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yes, I would like to shout out my family who is here today, my wonderful husband, Donnie, all of my YCC kiddos that I've coached in the past and Ugly Duckling. I don't know. Thank you, everyone.
All right, and there you have it. Again, I'm Laura Osterlin. That's Steph Wood. Strike win 18-17. Back to you.
We just heard from Steph Wood to close out this game. She put on a great show for us tonight, opening us off with a great layout bid. Megan, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I mean, this was such a phenomenal game. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight on behalf of the entire Minnesota Strike organization. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in with us. And just thank you for supporting the Premier Ultimate League. Thank you for supporting New York Gridlock if you were out here supporting the New York team. Once again, I'm Megan Multeney.
And I'm Simone Pirati.
And we thank you for watching Minnesota Strike versus New York Gridlock with the Premier Ultimate League. See you soon.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores. What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.